Tuned. We've got lots coming up for you here on the B, and I'll be back in the morning at 10. See you then.
Nothing you can say can tear me away from my God. Nothing you could do, 'cause I'm stuck like glue to my God. I'm sticking to my God like a stamp to a letter, like birds of a feather. We stick together. I'm telling you from the start, I can't be torn apart from my God. Nothing you could do could make me untrue to my God. My God. Nothing you could buy could make me tell a lie to my God. I gave my God my word of honor to be faithful, and I'm gonna, you best be believing I won't be deceiving my God. As a matter of opinion, I think he's tops. My opinion is he's the cream of the crop. As a matter of taste, to be exact, he's my ideal. As a matter of fact, no muscle bound man could take my hand from my God. My God. No handsome face could ever take the place of my God. He may not be a movie star, but when it comes to being happy, there's not a man today who can take me away from my God. No muscle bound man could take my hand from my God. My God. No handsome face could ever take the place of my God. He may not be a movie star, but when it comes to being happy, there's not a man today who could take me away from my God. What you say? There's not a man today who could take me away from my God. Tell me more. There's not a man today.
And there you have it. That was Mary Wells with My Guy here on 95.1 KWJB as we are ready to kick off the Huddle show. However, I just want to let you know that we will be sans 1TA. As apparently we found out recently, he was recently picked up by ICE. He's in a detention center somewhere. The counselor here, Joel Elliott, KWJB has retained him to try to find. Well, I knew it was something. Okay. Well, either way, he's been detained by Margaritaville, and and so having said that, once we get him out of that, we'll publish some sort of report on that in the Van Zant News for people to be able to go from there.
Well, if I can get a comment from the lawyer, we'll have a story.
Well, that's what we have to wait for. I mean, you know.
A lawyer will say a whole lot with nothing.
Like a politician.
You said it. I'm scared to talk bad about politicians because you never know who's going to pick you up with a mask on, like slushy.
Like a slushy.
Like a slushy.
Yeah. All right. Now that we found that TA has been picked up by slushy, not icy, and we're here with David Barber, Joel Elliott, and David Barber, take it away.
Well, thank you, Ken. Good evening and welcome to another edition of the Huddle Show. This is your number one source for football information in Van Zant County. I'm David Barber with Van Zant Newspapers, joined by the counselor, Joel Elliott. Engineer Ken is with us tonight, and as you've just heard, we're missing one member of our team tonight, T.A. Hale. Hopefully, we'll have him back with us next Tuesday night. But I guess that still remains to be seen, right, Engineer Ken?
I'm going to go with yes.
Okay.
As long as he gets out of the slushy.
Okay.
Or Margaritaville, whichever one it is.
Okay.
They're looking into his paperwork.
All right. Well, we're going to talk about some of our Van Zant County teams and how they did last Friday night. what they've got coming up. We've got one team that's going to have a bye this Friday night. Grant Saline Indians are going to be off, but the rest of our teams will be in action. Let's talk about the Van Vandals. They made a trip to Sunnyvale, and as some of you may recall, last year Van defeated Sunnyvale on 2 different occasions, once during the regular season and once during the playoffs. So you can imagine the atmosphere in Sunnyvale when the Vandals arrived Friday night. They had revenge on their minds, and they pretty much carried it out from start to finish Friday night. They were definitely in control most of the way. Van never had the lead in the game at all. Sunnyvale's lead was anywhere from 7 to 14 points. Every time Van got behind by 14 points, they could get within 7, but then they couldn't push it across and get the game tied or go ahead. So frustrating night for the Vandals. They did put up some very impressive offensive numbers. Van finished the other night, Joel, with 29 first downs, 110 yards rushing, 346 yards passing. Their total yardage was 456 yards. The problem was Sunnyvale had 25 first downs. They had 241 yards rushing and 266 yards passing. Their total yardage was 507 yards Friday night.
That's a lot of yards.
It's too many.
For both teams, really. I mean,
Yeah.
that's why they were trading punches. When you have a game that never really gets more than 14 points apart, but they put up those kinds of numbers,
Right.
that's a lot of running.
That is. It reminded me of the previous week's game at Glendale, where neither team could get that far ahead of the other one. But
and I'll just tell you, and I know you got a lot more to talk about this, but Grant Saline played on Thursday, and I was in the car on the way to Waco Friday, listening to the Bulldogs, watching the Vandals, like a true Van Zant County sports fan.
There you go.
And I'll just tell you, even at the end, when Van had the ball, they were down by 7, and they were driving. I texted, I said, they're not going to quit. Just because of my experience with Van, I thought, heck, they're going to score and win in spite of everything that's going on here. And I don't know. I know there was – you could hear some boo birds on some of the calls. There was some.
Can I say more than some?
I could tell that the Vandals were not real. And the thing is, I was listening. I was watching. I'll just tell you, I have a hard time watching the Van football production, being from Grant Saline. But I could hear Van's disapproval of some of those calls, even watching the Sunnyvale production of the football game where I was watching it. And not necessarily that I was disagreeing with Van, but that was kind of a crazy night.
Well, Joel, I'm not going to turn this into an indictment of the officials, but let me just say that was, in my years of covering high school football, that was about as bad as it could get from an officiating standpoint. And I also want to say Sunnyvale was the better team Friday night. They deserved to win. They have a tremendous football team. But my goodness, some of the calls or non-calls that we had the other night, to me, is just inexcusable.
Well, and the other thing about that is sometimes the referees create momentum, and momentum carries on its own. So when you get things going well and you have a call that interrupts it, it changes the momentum.
Right.
So even though the call itself may not have been a game changer, when you get enough of those going, it kind of just creates a momentum problem in a game.
Right.
That's just a law of physics.
Yeah.
An object in motion tends to stay in motion. You know what I'm saying.
Until a referee stops it.
Exactly.
Well, I tell you, I think I got an early signal when I got to Sunnyvale Friday night that it might not be the best of nights for the Vandals because there was some type of disruption. Disruption. I've got the officials on my mind.
After everything you said about the officials,
There was
it
some
sounds like there
corruption.
was some corruption going on.
But there was disruption on the visiting side of the stands before the kickoff. People were kind of scattering. Apparently, someone had spotted a wasp nest in the stands on the visitor side. But Sunnyvale, to their credit, they had a man on standby with exterminating equipment. And he got up in the stands and took care of that in good order. And then order was restored after that. Everything was fine
Was
from that point
was that
on.
on the home team side, or was
That was on the visiting side where
Wow.
Van fans were sitting.
Wow. See, that was nice. Think about the love and the fellowship that went into having a guy on standby.
That's right.
Not that
That's
they
right.
could have taken care of
Especially
it
when he
before the
has
game started or anything.
exterminating equipment.
Yeah.
And just so, and I know that last year, Canton had some issues with Sunnyvale. Let's just say that I think it was at the end of the season when the game was played. Certain things, there were some issues. So I'm not sure that Sunnyvale is the most loved team by the teams here in Van Zandt County. So.
And from what I understand, the Sunnyvale coaches were not thrilled with the officiating either. So, but let's move on to some other numbers. I wanted to point out that Van had a really good night offensively, especially in the passing game. Raleigh Hinch is turning into a real good quarterback for the Vandals. This is his first year to start on varsity. Against Sunnyvale the other night, he completed 26 out of 35 passes for 346 yards. He threw 3 touchdowns and had an interception. Van had not one, but 2 receivers that went over 130 yards in receptions Friday night. Aiden Willis caught 11 passes for 131 yards and 2 touchdowns. Cash Walker, 9 catches, 141 yards, and 1 touchdown. So the Vandals did some good things, especially on the offensive side of the ball Friday night. But as Coach Moffitt pointed out to me today when I visited with him, we put up all those numbers offensively, yet we finished with 28 points. We left some points out on the field Friday night, and he was disappointed about that. And then we talked about the defense the other night because I'll give you a couple of stats on Van's defense this season. First 2 games that they won over Dallas Carter and Pine Tree, the Van defense caused 8 turnovers. In the last 2 games that they've lost to Lindale and Sunnyvale, they've created 0 turnovers. So that is a major stat with the defense right now. There's still some tackling issues that have to be resolved. Now, Coach Moffitt does not use this as an excuse, and he pointed out to me he doesn't let anybody use this as an excuse, but they're not 100% healthy right now, especially on the defensive side of the ball.
And he was saying that last week, they don't have a bye this week, but they have one next week.
Next week. So they need to get through this game Friday night with Brownsboro, and then they can have a bye week. And I think there's already signs that the injury list is getting a little bit smaller now, and it's going to get a whole lot smaller, I think, during the bye week. So we move on, and this Friday night is homecoming night at Van Memorial Stadium. The Brownsboro Bears come to Van with a 1-3 record overall. Interesting stat, Coach Moffitt is 15-0 in his career against Brownsboro. He has never lost to Brownsboro. And so
I just want to go on record of saying, if that happens, you jinxed him.
well, I know.
I feel pretty safe. just me.
Really? You, Joel? I
Well,
figured if
let me take
anybody
that
would
back.
root
Let me take that back.
against.
I feel safe for Van.
Well, I think it would be good for the Vandals to get back on home turf, homecoming night, and they usually play pretty well on homecoming night. They've been able to minimize the distractions, and so I fully expect them to come out and play well. A couple of questionable injury notes here. DeQuavion Williams, better known as Q. Running back and also a starting cornerback on defense, did not play against Sunnyvale, has an MCL sprain that he suffered the week before against Lindale. He is listed as questionable for Friday night, but Coach Moffitt told me today he is practicing. So there is, I think, hope that possibly he can play Friday night. We'll have to wait and see.
Van had another player that didn't play last week. Who was out?
Yes, their linebacker, Carter Admire.
Yeah.
He was out with a concussion. Coach Moffitt told me today he will start Friday night. He's back in the lineup.
Those were 2. That's a couple of players that were pretty instrumental.
Yeah. You got 2 big starters on defense and then your number 1 running back.
Right.
And then, but they got a new injury. We'll see how that goes. Waylon King, defensive lineman for the Vandals, suffered a shoulder injury about halftime, close to halftime Friday night. Did not play the second half. He is listed as questionable for Friday night.
Got a little chat for you here. And forgive me if I say this name wrong, but Tavo, T-A-V-O, Lemus, L-E-M-U-S, chimed in on our chat, says, good evening, gentlemen. And then he says, Van has taken everyone's best shot, and Van has yet to play 4Q of football. So there you go. That's just some live chat that we're getting back, feedback here on the show.
You know, and he's not wrong. Just from what I've seen, and even I think Coach Moffitt, was it last week he was here?
Yes,
Last week?
yes.
He said Van hasn't played a full game yet.
Right.
And they have, and what they have played isn't their best. So I agree with that observation.
Well, he told me today, Coach Moffitt did, he says, we have played 4 very physical football games, 16 quarters of very physical football. And he said, we're looking forward to a little break. But he said their full attention now is on the Brownsboro Bears Friday night. And so wish them well. 7:30 kickoff on homecoming night at Van. And we'll now move on to some other teams, but why don't we talk about some of our sponsors first. And we want to remind everyone that we're brought to you tonight by Austin Bank with locations in Van and Grants Saline. We're brought to you by Exit Realty Pro at 1445 South Buffalo Street in Canton, 903-567-7777. We're brought to you by Epic Industrial, the power of service. They want to wish the best of luck to all Van Zandt County high school football teams. We're also brought to you tonight by the Dwayne Wheeler Farmers Insurance Agency, Auto, Home, Life, Business, Farm, and Ranch, 903-963-8887. They're located at 121 West Main in Van. We're also brought to you by Good Service Station. They're proud to support Van Vandal football and Van Lady Vandal volleyball. They sell service at Good's Service Station, 903-963-7848. Located at 172 East Main in Van, they now carry farm diesel. And we're brought to you by Elliott & Waldron Abstract and Title Company of Canton, 681 West Dallas Street, 903-567-4127. I'm David Barber, Van Zandt News sports correspondent, joined by the counselor, Joel Elliott. And Engineer Ken is with us tonight. We want to remind everyone that T.A. Hale is not with us tonight, expected to return next week.
Next week. And we are at the Native Sun. That's right, on the corner of Buffalo and Delicious, where all you have to do is follow the smell of great cooking and great food. Pull right in here. I promise you, you'll have a good time. And you'll even get to see the counselor in case you need to be counseled. You'll even get to see the godfather of Van Zandt. We were just talking pregame. 454 years of covering football right here in Van Zandt County. So, I mean, the oldest football coverage ever known to man is right here in the Native Sun on the corner of Buffalo and Dallas. So you definitely want to take an opportunity to swing by.
He's acting like you're a part of that old Andy Griffith story when the guy pulled up and thought it was a cow pasture. You ever heard that?
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's exactly where I was going with it. I knew you for pointing that out.
I'm just saying.
I tried to give some original material here, but there you go.
All right.
Take it away, David.
Okay. We're going to move on and talk about another one of our Van Zandt County football teams. And, Joel, which direction would you like to go?
Let's go ahead and talk about Wills Point.
Okay.
And I'll just tell you, it wasn't a great night. And I know you've got more stats for me, but I've looked up a little bit here.
Right.
Wills Point had 33 points the week before. They come into this week, they only have Tanner Maddox had 131 yards, 15 of 28. I believe that is correct. And then Jax King was the receiver that got the majority of it. He had 41 yards receiving. And then on the ground, Brian Martinez had 40 yards. But on the other side, Farmersville is not bad. They had their running back had 191 yards rushing and 4 touchdowns on 15 carries. Farmersville's 3-1. Wills Point's 1-3 now. Farmersville had 531 yards of offense. Wills Point had 237. And this is where I think, at least on the stat line, where you start seeing things kind of fall apart. Wills Point turned the ball over twice, forced by Farmersville. So, you know, I don't think that Wills Point is as far off as it may look in some of these games. In fact, they're playing Waxahachie Life this week. The first game of the season when they played was at Crum, I think.
Yes.
And Crum's a good team and put up a lot of points. But then they came back the next week, and Wills Point just slaughtered Venus.
Right.
They played well against Maybank, and then they had this game that was kind of down against Farmersville. And, again, Farmersville's good. So I think they've played two good teams that have made them look like they may be worse than they actually are. I've got a feeling the game against Waxahachie Life, especially after what Canton did with them, I think that this may be a turning point for Wills Point. They'll get back in the win column this week.
And they'll have their bye week after this week.
And they may need it the same way that everybody else is. Grand Salene's got theirs now. Wills Point will have their bye week. Van's going to have their bye week. Maybe we'll get into district with all these teams and everybody get to be healthy.
All right. We wish the Tigers well. Joel, I don't know if we want to talk about Canton now, but I had two conversations with Coach Regal yesterday, so I don't know if we want to get into Canton now.
If we don't need to read sponsors, let's do it.
If he's got some, do you have some more you need to do now?
Well, not necessarily, but I do have some more at some point. But we're going to. All right. Well, we're going to talk about Canton, then we'll take our next break. But the Canton Eagles, my gosh, they just keep rolling. They seem to get better every week, Joel. I mean, they took on a Maybank team that came in with a winning record, and Canton just completely dominated this game, 47-0 against Maybank last Friday night. And these numbers, man, they're mind-blowing. Canton ran the ball 44 times, 416 yards rushing. They have 4 touchdowns rushing. And then the two quarterbacks that played combined for 7 out of 17 for 99 yards and 3 touchdowns. Court Ray, we're talking about good play by first-year varsity quarterbacks. How about Court Ray, 16 carries, 133 yards and 3 touchdowns. He completed 6 out of 15 passes for 99 yards and 3 touchdowns. He had 6 total touchdowns in this game and accounted for over 200 yards of total offense himself. But they got tremendous contributions from other players. Kason Kuhn, 5 carries, 50 yards. Conrad Bastien, is that how you pronounce it? Yeah. Okay. Coach Regal's
Bastion, all kinds of stuff.
Okay. Well, anyway, Coach Regal said best game this young man has ever played at Canton. Had 9 carries for 105 yards and also caught a pass for 33 yards. And Andres, is it Galan? 9 carries, 91 yards and 1 fumble. And then Bryson Prox had 5 carries, 40 yards and a touchdown. So right there, the running game was outstanding. And then the receiving, 2 catches for Ethan Lewis, 30 yards and a touchdown. Kason French, 2 catches, 36 yards and 2 touchdowns. But we can't forget about the great effort of the defense. Second week in a row, a shutout. And I don't care who you're playing or where you're playing. You get 2 consecutive shutouts defensively. That's saying a lot. Ken, did you want to add something to that?
Let's see. We have on here, Scott was trying to say what it was football. That Andy Griffith story that you were just talking
Yes.
about?
What it was, that's right.
Yes.
What it was football.
That's right.
He was telling that whole story.
Yes.
So I got you on that, Scott. Yes, that's where we were at. The Knowles family chimed in and said both offensive and defensive was on point for Canton last week.
Just a tremendous performance. I'd like to mention some of the – I talked to Coach Regal a couple of times yesterday, and he mentioned –
Real quick, for Kason, it's Kason Kewen.
Okay.
Is how you pronounce it. And the interesting thing about the Kewen is that's the one that I believe TA has dubbed Genghis Kewen.
Yeah, that's right. He has. You're correct. I've forgotten about that. But how about the fact that the Canton defense had 6 quarterback sacks in the game against Maybank? Kalen O'Neill, he played only the first half. He had 3 quarterback sacks on his own the other night. Branson Chambly, linebacker, 15 tackles, a tackle for a loss, a quarterback sack, and an interception. Made a bunch of plays. And then Coach Regal also recognized the efforts of defensive back Carson Hawkins, defensive back Jaden Lopez, linebacker Brendan Moore, defensive lineman, and help me with this last name, is it Caden Havariah? Haveriah. You don't know how to
We're looking
pronounce
at
it
Ken.
either.
You've been there.
All of a sudden, I'm trying to think of what we're talking about. I'd have to look at it to see.
Okay. But Lucas Hughes came back from an injury, defensive back, and played well. According to Coach Regal, he caused a fumble and recovered 2 fumbles. And then Trey Martin had a fumble recovery. So as Coach Regal said, a complete team effort, offense, defense, special teams, a dominating victory for Maybank to improve the Eagles' record to 4-0.
Here's a prediction, and I know people will start talking about it here in a few weeks.
I'm going to start talking about it right now.
Canton plays Rusk. Rusk is, they're not great.
I've got some info on them, but go ahead.
Then they play Kent. Then they play Wills Point, and then they play Ferris. I think Canton, unless something happens that none of us foresee, rolls in 8-0, which I don't know how long it's been since Canton was at that point. I think there was a year when maybe when they lost in the playoffs to Tatum or whoever that was. I think they might have had an undefeated record going at that point. But if they're going into these last 2 games, you got Quinlan Ford and Sunnyvale. These kids are going to be on fire. And we're going to start talking about what Ryan has in this restaurant here, all these little cards from the 60s.
Yeah.
And it's going to be a lot of fun in Canton.
Oh, I tell you. And defensively, just tremendous performances. But you go into this season and what they had to replace 21 seniors from last year.
Yeah.
And for them to play this well and this dominant, I mean, they've only allowed, 21 points the entire season after 4 games?
It's pretty spooky. That's why I'm saying
Yeah.
people are going to start talking. I mean, they just had they pitched a shutout this game, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
2 in a row.
Yes. I mean, Canton's good. Now,
Yeah.
and the thing is, you can look at the opponents and what they've done or whatever. These kids have done everything that they were supposed to do, and they've done it well.
Yes.
And at this point right now, I'd say Canton is probably they're as on fire as they can be, and probably at this point would be the best team in the county, at least doing everything that they've done.
As well as they're playing right now, they may not want a bye week next week. But
Well, everybody else needs it. They may not.
They're on a roll.
But anyway, this week, and let me tell you, you want to get Engineer Ken fired up, talk to him about going to Rusk Friday night. He can't wait.
Yeah, I don't want to talk about going to that duck blind. I'm going to be sitting in out there. It ain't
Carry your waiters.
I tell you what.
But it's going to be a 7:30 kickoff at Rusk, final non-district game. And Coach Regal said this about Rusk. In fact, I asked him, I said, other than winning the game, of course, what do you want to see from your team in your last game before your bye week? And he said, we want to continue to see improvement moving forward, and we need to continue to improve as we get ready for district play. Now, for the 5th game in a row, this is really interesting, and I think we talked about this earlier in the season. The Eagles are playing an opponent with a new head coach. 5th game in a row they're doing this. So I asked him about Rusk, and he talked about their new leadership, and he says they've been competitive, playing a tough non-district schedule. He said Rusk has the best defense we have seen at this point. They run the ball offensively. They run the ball. They play hard. They're a young team. And he said they are probably going against the fastest receiver they have played against so far. And he said he thinks he's probably going to be the fastest receiver they'll see all season. So Rusk has some weapons. They'll play 2 different quarterbacks. And he said Rusk is a tough place to play. And they do remember what happened the last time they went to Rusk with an opportunity to make the playoffs, and they lost that last regular season game 2 years ago against Rusk. And Canton beat Rusk at home last year. But they're remembering that last trip to Rusk was not good for them. But Rusk runs out of the spread offense. They have a physical running style, but they'll take their shots deep with their fast receivers. Defensively, Rusk will show an even front and a 4-2 alignment. So he definitely has a lot of respect for Rusk and is looking for quite a challenge going on the road down there Friday night. 7:30 kickoff, by the way.
He's saying what he has to say.
Yes. Yes.
My prediction,
Yes.
they may not pitch a shutout in their lopsided win. So,
Yeah.
Again, Canton is doing everything that you couldn't ask more out of them this year.
Oh.
So it's kudos to Canton.
As I said, every week it just looks like they're getting better and better in all phases.
Mm-hmm.
And
That's mine. I did. I'm in trouble for ordering my sandwich early.
well, that's all right. That's all right. Engineer Ken, do we need to talk about anything before I do another round of sponsors?
Go ahead and do that round of sponsors. As soon as I can get Ryan over here, we'll talk about food
Okay.
because
Well.
Joel already knows what he wants, apparently.
Hey, I'm a regular here almost.
Hey, you had to
Just
get the
saying.
slushy out of the icy thing, and so
I don't know if you know, when I walk in, they yell like Norm. Just saying.
that's good stuff right there.
All right, well, let's go through another round of sponsors, and then when we come back, we're going to talk about Grants Lean and Edgewood.
Let's do it.
So let's remind everyone that tonight we're brought to you by Legacy Dental Group, family dentistry, cosmetic dentistry, oral surgery, orthodontics, sedation dentistry. They're located at 240 East Highway 243 in Canton, 903-508-2923. We're also brought to you by the Rick John State Farm Insurance Agency at 100 North 4th Street in Wills Point, 903-873-2858. Auto, Home, Life, and Health. We're brought to you by Robertson Electric, commercial and residential air conditioning and heating service, free estimates. They have 2 locations. Wills Point is 903-873-2461. Terrell is 972-563-5254. We're brought to you by M Square Property Management Company at 1455 South Buffalo Street in Canton, 903-502-0202. We're brought to you by Legacy Ag Credit, financing your legacy, rural land, country homes, operating capital, farms and ranches, livestock and equipment, 903-567-2251. And we're brought to you by Hall Chevrolet GMC at 385 West Dallas Street in Canton, 903-567-4106. I'm David Barber, Van Zant Newspapers. Pleased to be joined, as always, by the counselor, Joel Elliott. Engineer Ken is with us tonight. Absent from our table is T.A. Hale. He'll be back with us next week. In the meantime, we do have a special guest, and I'm going to turn it over to Engineer Ken.
We do have a special guest. We have the one, the only, the Ryan. If you have been to Native Son, you may have met Ryan, but if not, you've been tuned into the show. You've definitely met Ryan because he is the chef par excellence right here at Native Son, which is on the corner of Buffalo and Delicious.
If not Buffalo and Dallas.
But yeah, if not that, it's on Buffalo and Delicious.
I always get a new nickname from Junior.
Every single time, right?
Yeah.
All right. Well, and if you can't get a new nickname each and every time, what's the point, right?
Yeah, it's like a new accolade.
Well, it is. It is. It's a special thing. Not everybody gets those. I mean, you heard about TA, though, right? What we said about TA earlier? He apparently, I thought he was picked up by ICE, but Joel corrected. He's the attorney of record. So he was picked up by Slushy.
Got it.
Yeah.
Got it. Yeah.
And so, anyway, he's not here tonight, so we're not doing that. And of course, Joel is a regular from what I understand. And so he's already ordered, but what did you order, Joel?
I ordered the Carver turkey.
The Carver turkey, is that your
Again?
fave?
I'll tell you, if it weren't so late when I eat it, I would probably go with a muffalata. I love that sandwich.
Yeah.
The Carver turkey, my wife and I ate it last week and loved it. I've had the pork chop that's really good, and I have eaten part of the hot link po' boy, which has the alligator sausage when I was here with a buddy of mine.
Uh-huh.
It's really good. Muffalata is probably my favorite, though.
So far, that's your favorite?
So far.
Have you
I'm not
tried?
done.
Have you tried the gumbo? With the duck
no.
leg?
No, I
I'm
have
telling
not.
you,
Have
it's the
not.
duck confit, huh?
I have not. And the cracklins. You can't
Oh,
go
yeah.
wrong. And you take the cracklins home,
Yeah.
and you can even put them in the refrigerator, take them out and stick them in the air fryer,
Uh-huh.
Yep.
and it's like they just came
still
out again.
smoking.
It's awesome.
You still hear that?
You can hear them popping. Yes,
Yeah.
still hear them
Yeah.
popping.
Well, I
Yep.
was going to ask David what he wants, but we already know what David's going with. He's a man of few
Habits.
choices.
Consistency.
Yeah.
Oh, thank you. I like that.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah, the ham and brie, right?
Yes. With the waffle fries, of course.
Now-
I think I'd like to get David in here just to read the menu to the guest in his.
Yeah. And it would start out by saying ham and brie, waffle fries.
Well, interestingly enough, last week I was going to try the pork chop.
Right.
And TA was going to do the ham and brie. Interestingly enough, when I got home, I had the ham and brie. It was a pleasant surprise. I enjoyed the ham and brie, by the way, and TA had the pork chop.
All right.
So for me this go around, what do you suggest?
Well, we can get the pork chop right this time, and we can do that for you.
Well, it's not possible for you to give it to TA this time, so
I mean, have you done the redfish?
I have not.
I mean, now that you're eating solid food, I mean, I will say, none of y'all. I don't think we've done a steak for y'all, any of y'all yet. We buy the primal cut of a strip and we hand butcher it. So it's like a 12-inch Texas strip. You don't say a New York strip anymore. You got to say a Texas strip. And then we've got two setups. So one of them comes with a gorgonzola buttermilk on top with crispy German potatoes underneath. And the other one comes with our sun-dried tomato chimichurri and crab boil potatoes. I always tell people my favorite part of a crawfish boil is the potato.
Potatoes?
So we basically take the
I'll go with
potatoes.
that one.
Yeah. We cook those in the crawfish boil spice and seasoning, and then we crisp them up real quick before we serve them. So that's a
Oh
good
my
one, too.
gosh.
Yeah.
Well, which one? What do you recommend? What do you recommend I try?
Well, I'd really like to make that pork chop right for you. Other than that, I might push you towards a steak just so we can get
I
that.
tell you what. Here's what I want you to do.
If you're going to
I
push
want
somebody towards a steak and they don't do it, if you twist my arm, I'll eat it next
Okay.
week. Just telling
Tell
you.
you what I'll do. You surprise me.
Oh man, I love that game.
Okay, surprise me.
Yeah.
But when you do, you got to bring it out here. We need to show people. We need to show people on air what it looks like.
Okay, let's do it. I
Does that
love
sound
it.
like a plan?
Yes,
All right.
absolutely.
Hey, and by the way, if you're driving by, stop by anytime Native Sun is open. Come on in. The hospitality is second to none. The atmosphere is great. And if it's on a Friday night, they have a TV screen specifically for this event that is broadcasting like tonight, or it's also broadcasting on Friday nights the football games, as long as we continue to get a YouTube signal out. Which sometimes even at the school that gets a little crazy. Last week we actually lost frames and it's like dropping out but coming back. You get the blue circle of YouTube death there for a few moments and then it comes back. So, but Native Sun is the place that you want to be. I joke when I say buffalo and delicious, but I'm not joking about the delicious at all. So far, I haven't had anything that I haven't liked, and Joel apparently is what I call an expert of the menu here so far.
I'm going to come back at lunch, maybe this Friday.
Yeah.
When I don't have to worry about going to bed
Right,
after
yeah.
having eaten it.
Well, one thing that I always say is I want everybody who walks through the doors to feel comfortable. So I don't care if you're in, shorts and a tank top and you sit at the bar and you get a po' boy and a Lone Star beer for $15, or you come in the evening and get a steak and a bottle of wine and spend $150. Like, you should feel just as at home and welcome. And we're a community spot, and so playing those Eagles games and having you guys in here, and it's just kind of celebrating who we are as a community, and a little bit of Canton Eagles football, but also just all this food. I wanted to reflect our community. These foods that we grew up with, and a lot of it's familiar. Like, we've all eaten pork rinds, but have you had them the way we do it?
Exactly.
And the other thing that I really, really loved, and I didn't mention it, the salmon.
Yes.
That it has that. What's crumbled on top of that? What,
So we do some homemade fried shallots and pork rind crumble on the
Yes.
top. Give it a little
on
crunch.
salmon.
Check that out. Check that out. He loves the pork rinds. You crumble that on the salmon. And he loves the salmon.
And I'll tell you, it's, if you want me to eat healthy, sprinkle some pork rinds.
Yeah, that's right. It's
There you go.
It's gluten free.
There you go. Keto friendly.
Yeah, those. If I didn't say it before, the pork rinds was like a personal challenge. It was like, all right, if Frito-Lay showed up at our door and said, make us the craziest, wackiest flavor you could think of, that's what we came up with. So we're really proud of it. But anyways.
Well, that is awesome. All right. So why don't you go ahead and tell everybody your hours during the week?
So we're open Tuesday through Saturday, lunch and dinner. Right now, the kitchen is always open till 10 o'clock. Kitchen opens at 11. Bar is always open late night. So as long as people are here hanging out, having a good time, we keep the bar open. And you know, there's some nights where we shut the doors at midnight, and there's some Saturday nights where we're shooing people out at 2 a.m. It just kind of
Well,
depends.
but you have entertainment that happens over the weekend as well, right?
Friday and Saturday nights we do live music, sometimes on other nights as well, but we love celebrating local talent, and we love when we have, like, you know, some local boy coming in here, and he's not really playing big venues yet, and we get him in here, and he brings mom and dad and cousin and grandma and grandpa, and those are some of the best nights where everybody just hangs out and has a good time. And
Everybody has an opportunity to pay their dues.
yeah, right. Yeah, absolutely.
Now, I just want to know, he's saying local talent. How do we fall into that category?
Well,
Not.
Oh, okay.
We probably shouldn't go there.
Okay, all right.
It sounds better
Half.
when it comes with your voice. You know,
Just
just
the
saying
local.
local talent. You know?
Lack of local talent.
Okay. Just want to know where I stand
That's
or
right.
sit down.
We got the adjective, not the noun, right?
All right, Ryan, thank you so much. And hey, feel free to come over. TA's spot was empty. Come over and hang out with us through the rest of the
Yeah.
show if you'd like.
Yeah, absolutely. Let me go get that steak on the grill, and then I'll come keep the seat warm a little bit.
Roger Dodger.
All right.
All right, take it away, David.
All right. Well, I believe now we're going to move on and talk about the Grand Saline Indians. And Joel, I know you also have connections to Edgewood. I do have Edgewood information, but I'll be glad to turn it over to you for Edgewood as well.
I'm probably going to ask you on some of the stats. I watched the game, but I haven't kept up with any of this. Well, I say I watched the game. I listened to the Bulldog radio while watching the Van game. But on Thursday night,
Right.
somewhere near Louisiana,
Somebody told me, said, when you get to Joaquin, you can say you're in Texas, but it's getting a little close to Louisiana.
so Grand Saline game was on YouTube like all the rest of them. And even out in the cow pasture in Joaquin, you had some buffering issues that were going on. So, in my opinion, I think Grand Saline finally had their best game across the board. Jet was 5 of 10, 93 yards passing, had 2 passing touchdowns. Jet had 17 carries for 108 yards and a rushing touchdown. And I'll tell you what I really liked what Grand Saline did this week. Preston Haas has been the primary running back all season long so far. He had 4 carries for 35 yards, which is not out of line with what he's been doing. He may have had a few more carries, but he hasn't had like a big breakout game. And he's more of a quick runner. He's not small, but he's not. Last year with Boyd, we had a big bruising runner. So this week, or this past week, number 0, Kason Bolin, had 3 carries for 31 yards, and it looked like a bowling ball. He is a big dude, plays middle linebacker. He's a big dude that runs the ball. And one of the reasons that I liked it is there wasn't a whole lot of dancing with him. He's not going to juke and jive as much. He's just going to run over you. He also had a huge game on defense, and I'll talk about that in a minute. Haas had his 4 carries for 35. Bolin had 3 carries for 31. One of them was on an option. One of them was right up the middle, and he got hit at the line of scrimmage and pretty much just ran people over for about a 10-yard gain. Austin Dugan, a junior, he had 4 carries for 18 yards. He came in and played some in the second half. I think with all of those guys presenting different types of running styles, I think that will help Jet with his ability to use the play action a little bit more. And even on his running plays, when you give the fake and he takes off running, it actually has defense to where they're having to step up and worry about the running back more. And they're not just able to key on Taylor. Receiving, he had Colton Prox had 3 receptions, 33 yards and a touchdown. Bo Hathcock had a reception for 32 yards and a touchdown. And Ashton Withers, and I'll tell you, I think he's a sophomore. Yeah, he's a sophomore. He caught a ball in double coverage where he caught it at a high point, and I don't know that he was 10 foot up, but he was really high up above 2 different guys and pulled it down. So we're looking pretty good on offense. Our defense, like I said earlier, Kason Bolin, he had 13 tackles and a sack. He had probably one of the biggest hits of the game, if not 2 of the biggest hits of the game. There was a play when when Joaquin was driving. Ivy, who's a sophomore linebacker, grabs the kid, and then Bolin just levels him. Ivy strips the ball, and Gabe Lewis comes up with a fumble recovery. Watched that a couple of times. That's the good thing about these games being on YouTube. I can rewind it, slow it down, zoom it in, and see everything. And I did that on Vans too. And so I'm sitting there. My wife hates it when I say she hates it. She just doesn't pay attention and rolls her eyes a lot. But I will ignore. I am not a football coach. I'm not a sports writer. I just like watching football. And I'll tell you right now, I think Grant Saline, the things that I've had concerns about, and Joaquin is good. Don't get me wrong. Joaquin is a very, and they. I don't know that they're better than Prairieland, and I know that would be an issue that people from Edgewood would say, there's no way they're better than Prairieland. They're comparable. Grant Saline just had a really, really good game the other night. When you look at the statistics, Prairieland had 46 rushing attempts for 203 yards. They were 3 of 6. Now, they had only thrown the ball 8 times all season, so they almost doubled their number of passes against Grant Saline by throwing 6. Completed 3 of them. And they had one that was picked for a touchdown. So there were 5 total turnovers in the game that Grant Saline had. They had 5 forced fumble and recovered 4 of them, and they had the pick that was returned for the touchdown. And the schedule, and Grant Saline has a bye week.
Yes.
So they had what I think is probably their best all-around game. Their kick team, which had caused me concern, I think they fixed it. They had really good coverage on their kickoff team. Punt team played well. I mean, it was probably the best all-around game. The game was never in question. Joaquin scored 7 points within, I think, maybe the last 20 seconds of the game. It really was just kind of an afterthought. So it wasn't even as close as it looks on here. Grant Saline was a little short on 1 field goal that would have scored another 3 points. Other than that, everything pretty much they did what they were supposed to do. So our district, and I know Edgewood's starting the district this week. Our district is still probably going to come down to Edgewood and Grant Saline, and it's going to be one of those games that none of this record stuff matters.
And that's October 11th, I believe.
It is. It's
October 10th. I'm sorry.
2 weeks from this Friday, whatever that is.
The 10th. Yeah.
But then Lone Oak, who I had been looking at, wondering if they were as good as the 3-0 record they had. Well, they ended up losing to Tioga 7-47. Edgewood beat Tioga the week before by 3, and actually had a bigger lead. I mean, I know it. TA last week said, look, that game was a lot closer than what it should have been. I think Edgewood just let off the gas at the end. And then we'll get in and talk about Palmer. But the first part of the game that I was listening to, I'm not sure what happened with Edgewood, but I don't think that was a good game. I don't think that there's anybody who walked away from that game thinking that Edgewood put out their best product.
Well, let me ask you this. Grant Saline is going into this bye week, 3-1 record. And I know most coaches like to have their bye week between the end of non-district and the start of district play. So that's the way it falls in place for Grant Saline. How would you assess the Indians after 4 games, and or you feel like they're ready to go to defend that district championship?
So growing up in the house that I grew up in, I was always taught that there were 3 seasons. There's the pre-district, there's the district, and there's the playoffs. So Grant Saline just finished the first of those 3 portions of the season. I think they've played teams that will help them prepare. And I'm probably not the best gauge because even in games that I don't think Grant Saline played well, they played well enough to win. I don't think that they put forward – I think they should have beat Palmer. There's some questionable stuff that happened on that last play, but like we had said before, I don't think that they should have even been in that position. I think if they have this week off and they keep doing what they're supposed to do, and I don't want to jinx anybody, but Grant Saline, if they stay healthy, should be rolling through district. And Edgewood's an anomaly in my mind just because that's one of those games where it doesn't matter what their records are. Edgewood's going to show up. And Edgewood has the tools. I'm not sure what happened this past week. Edgewood has the tools, the players, and the ability to play with Grant Saline on any given night. But if Edgewood performs the way they did last week and Grant Saline just performs like normal, it may not be as good a game as Edgewood's hoping. Now, I say that, but at the same time, I know that Edgewood is probably sitting there thinking, "Oh no, you're wrong. We're fixing to take you out." But we'll see. That's why we play the games.
Now,
That's right.
When you say they have the tools, that's not like in the same.
I will
way
tell
when
you,
the-
Go Lightly is good.
Okay, so that's not like in the same thing when they tell me
No,
I'm a tool.
you're not. They aren't a tool. They have the weapons. Let me replace
Okay,
it.
that's better. Yeah, I get that.
They have Pippen at running back. They've got Go Lightly throwing the ball. I mean, the fact that I'm not looking at any paper and I can tell you
Sure.
Edgewood's players. Edgewood is good. I'm not sure what happened this past week. I'm not sure what happened at the second half against Tioga. But up until that point, I would have thought that Edgewood and Grant Saline were pretty close. Grant Saline hasn't slowed down, and in fact, this past week was a good step forward for Grant Saline. I feel good about having a week off. And other than the Edgewood game, especially after watching what Lone Oak did, Grant Saline should roll.
Tavo Lemus chimed in on the chat, and he said that his brother actually played for Grant Saline 04-05-ish. His name was Daniel Landaverde. And didn't know if you were probably in school at that time because you're still a young whippersnapper, if I'm not mistaken.
I wish I could say that, but even my brother was out of college by the
Really?
end. Yeah.
Golly, man, you're still old though.
Oh, I'm old. I'm old.
Yeah, you're like Methuselah.
Yeah. Maybe not quite that old. My dad.
Well,
my dad's that old.
We better get off that subject.
Yeah.
You're going to talk about how old I am.
We were waiting. Now we're to you.
Yeah.
Yeah.
He's already said you were there when Andy Griffith was telling that story.
That's right.
So,
Hey, I'm not going to steal your thunder. I do have Edgewood information, but you go ahead and talk about them.
so if you just look here, that second quarter by
Oh.
Palmer, they put up 29
You know
points.
this is radio. You can't say let's look here.
Well, thank God.
Oh,
because
you too.
Well, you too, but yeah.
Oh no, I had a face for radio.
But you're right. That 29-point second quarter for Palmer was a killer for Edgewood the other night.
And no matter what they did at the end, it was just going to be polished. So that 29-point second quarter, and I think I can't remember if it was a interception or if there was something. I think there was a turnover in the second quarter that kind of shifted the momentum. Anyway, on the statistics side, let me flip over here
flip over there.
to the
There you go.
Bulldogs.
There you go.
So Go Lightly was 16 of 30, and I like it when TA's here because he always tells his passer. It is 83.6 QB rating. That's down. I mean, he has been putting up some crazy numbers. So there were 2 touchdowns thrown, and he had an interception that he threw. Rushing the ball, Jathan Johnson had 1 carry for 9 yards, and then I believe there he is, Pippen, 18 for 121 yards. Go Lightly ran the ball 13 times for 118 yards. Pippen had 2 touchdowns. I don't remember if there was a fumble. I wish I could see that on here. Of course, you have your usual suspects over there receiving the ball. Jathan Johnson had 3 for 13. Aiden Fincher had 2 for 11. Pippen had 4 for 42. Tony Smith had 3 for 37. And Tristan Turner, the senior, had 4 for 104 yards. And he had a TD along with Aiden Fincher. So the Bulldogs, and again, Palmer's a classification, and I know they have the whole big school, small school, 3A, but they're in the big school when Edgewood and Grant Saline are in the small school.
Right.
And they're undefeated, and they're going to be, I think they're ranked like 14th or 15th in the state. Palmer's a really good football team. So this score, even though it may be lopsided, that's against a really, really high-powered, much larger school than what Edgewood's been playing. So this week, Edgewood plays Prairieland.
On the road.
On the road.
And they play Thursday.
And
it's 7 o'clock kickoff.
And Prairieland is, if I remember right, they're 2-2. And I was trying to see if there were any common opponents, and there's just not. So, but I think that Edgewood, wins this week. I think that it's going to be no more losses for Edgewood, and hopefully will be a big showdown with with Grand Saline. That's what both schools need.
People like us can look ahead to October 10th, but the players and the coaches
They-
cannot do
They're
that.
not allowed to.
That's right. So
That's why it's great to be a fan.
that's right.
We get to stir the pot.
That's right. All right. We've got one more round of sponsors. If you'd like for me to go ahead and share that right now, sir.
All right.
Okay.
All right.
We are brought. Oh, by the way, when we come back after this break, by popular demand, we're bringing back a segment that is always talked about. It's never duplicated, but we are bringing it back tonight. The Oofy Picks.
Yes.
And we have some more information to share with you about that after this break.
After these messages,
That's
we'll
right.
be right back.
We want to remind everyone that we are presented tonight by Mill Creek Dental. They're making East Texas smile. Dr. Ann A. Duddle, General Family and Cosmetic Dentistry and Orthodontics. 104 Burnett Trail in Canton, 903-567-2207. Tonight we're also brought to you by Ship and Print. Shipping, printing, faxing, copies, notary, office supplies. They have a community board set up there, and they have retail spaces for rent. They're located 438 North 4th Street in Wills Point, 972-750-6063. We're brought to you by the Tim James Insurance Agency, Home, Auto, Business, and Farm. 548 West Highway 243 in Canton, 903-567-0627. And we're brought to you by Taylor Automotive at 27928 Highway 64 in Canton, 903-567-3948. I'm David Barber, Van Zandt News Sports Correspondent, joined by the counselor, Joel Elliott. Engineer Ken is with us tonight. T.A. Hale is absent, not with us tonight. He'll be back with us next Tuesday night. We also have Ryan here from Native Son with us, and I'm going to turn it over to Ken at this time.
Ryan. I like it when Ryan's over here.
Absolutely.
We can talk food all night long, Ryan.
Yeah, I'm here
We
all
need to do a
night.
Huddle show, like on just food.
I'm okay with that. I'm down with that. Yeah.
We do that on Wednesday nights.
Half of food is the huddle. Half of the food is just figuring out where you're going to go to eat, especially if you're married.
Yes, right? What do you want for supper tonight? I don't know. What
He
do
acts
you
like
want?
he gets an opinion. That's funny.
Right?
Or maybe that's just me.
You get told. Yeah. You get told.
That's true.
Yeah. But most of the time what happens, you get asked, and then you say, because you're wise, you say, whatever you would like, my love. And so she says, all right, pick me up something from Native Son. And that's a good time right there.
She said the turkey sandwich.
Yeah. Typical.
Tavo's asking me how the pork chop was last week. Well, Tavo, the answer to the question right there is that I didn't get it. I did not get the pork chop. It wound up with TA. So, and he's not here. He was picked up by Slushy. So
It'll save them something to tune into next.
that's right. Check out next week. And well, depend. You know, and
The
we're got to
pork chop
see.
report.
We've got to see what Ryan is bringing out for us here to put on camera. So you guys might want some of that here in a minute. How many more teams do we have to cover?
Now, we're done with that. We are now ready
We're
to
ready. This is
move
the
to the
picks.
Oofy Picks.
All right,
Yes.
so you may not be familiar, Ryan, with what the Oofy's picks are. So, like with most sports wagers, friendly gentleman wagers.
Right. Gambling. Go
so,
ahead.
All right, just call it like you see it, I guess. So what happens is Oofy sets the line on all the different games, and we have David Barber.
And the over-under.
And the over-under. We've got David Barber, Joel Elliott, T.A. Hale, and our roving reporter, Scott Meyer, who all chime in and do their picks. Now, I would invite anyone listening to the show, keep track of your picks as well. Report back here on the YouTube chat, and we can all keep track of this and see how you fare against the professionals.
I hold in my hands the picks from the roving reporter, Scott Myers.
And you've got to get all of it right. It's a loss if you don't get
All or
the
nothing.
team and the over-under.
Yeah, you got to pick both. All right. So,
Now, wait a minute. Joel, are you official recorder on this?
I'm going to write it down, take a picture, and send it to everybody.
well, I was going to say,
Okay.
because you didn't, when he asked earlier if you were going to do it, you didn't say yes. You didn't respond yes to the text.
Oh, it was in my head, sorry.
Oh, okay, good deal.
I thought I hit
As
send.
long as
That's
it
all
was
right.
there.
I hit
It's all right.
send up here.
So do you want to do this, or you want me to introduce the games?
No, I'll let you introduce the game. I'm going to be the secretary.
Okay.
I'm gonna write it down.
All right. Our first game that we're going to discuss tonight is Canton at Rusk. Canton, according to Ufi, and by the way, let's step back a moment. What's the status of a title sponsor for this segment?
It's hard to get a sponsor these days.
Really?
Yeah.
No sponsor?
Well, with slushies being out all over the place, it's hard to get a sponsor.
Sponsored by Ice.
Hey.
Baby.
Hey. All right. Canton
Starts
at
with vanilla.
Canton at Russ, 7:30 Friday night. We've got Canton minus 14. The over/under is 40. Can I read that number? 47 is the over/under on this game. Canton minus 14. Who wants to go first?
Well, TA has already sent his picks.
Okay.
Why don't you read those?
Well, I do. I have TA's picks.
Oh, sure.
Oh, we better.
Surely.
He doesn't get to create them after.
Surely.
Yeah.
Surely. we
I'm
do.
not sure I have that information.
Surely. Surely you jest.
These
Let's see.
gentlemen are, you guys have
This is
much
serious.
more educated picks than I do.
Can
Well,
can you
know what,
So
it-
you're gonna
it
have to
doesn't
can you tell we
put
haven't
your numbers
rehearsed
on.
this?
I mean, so let's do the layman's pick here.
Okay, Layman.
Rusk is going to be a bigger school, correct? But they are. Does this even count towards?
No, this is a final non-district game.
Yeah. So
Canton's undefeated.
Canton's undefeated,
And Rusk is.
hasn't won a game.
Rusk has won one game, I believe.
I think they're 0-4.
Oh, they're 0-4.
I'm pretty sure
Okay,
they-
I'm sorry.
I think that's right.
New head coach at Rusk.
All right. So TA didn't send his picks in. But don't worry. We'll get him from him.
Yeah.
As soon as they give him his phone back.
If he's sent him, I haven't seen him.
Rusk is 0-4, and just so you know, they lost to Troop 3-20, and Edgewood hung better with Troop than that.
Oh wow.
So
I would.
Okay.
I mean, I would go Canton on this one. Do you have to do?
You have
we
to do the
a spread
over-unders.
or- Oh my.
So
Yeah.
they're giving up 14 points, and the total score is going to be either over 47, right?
Total combined, 47 is over under.
So Tavo says Canton covers in 42-14. So that would be the under for Tavo. What do you think, Joel?
he said under 47?
Well, he says Canton covers 42-14. So that's not 47. Well, it would be.
It would be.
Sorry.
Because I'm thinking Canton in the over, and I just looked up Rusk well enough to where I feel comfortable with Canton and the over.
Okay, Joel's going Canton and over.
Put me down for Canton and over as well.
Okay. What did Scott go with?
Scott went with Canton and under.
Ooh, Scott went different. And we don't know about Teasy yet. What did Ryan go with? Ryan, what are you going with?
Okay, I'm going Canton under. Bob.
Oh, he went with Scott.
$1, Bob.
All right.
All right, our next game. Are we ready for the next game?
But we don't have TAs?
Well,
No, we'll get it from him.
Yeah.
Darn it.
We'll publish it.
Darn
Yes.
it. Doggone it.
All right. Van at home Friday night for homecoming against Brownsboro on a 7:30 kickoff. Van minus 14. The over/under is 52. And I beg your pardon. Let me back up. Van minus 24.
Oh.
Okay.
I was
Van minus 24, over/under 52. And you can go ahead and put me down Van and over.
He wasted no time on Van, did he? What you going with, Joel?
I think after these last 2 weeks, Van may get ugly with them. So I'm agreeing with David.
Oh, don't you hate it when you do that? What did
In
Scott
this
go
one,
with?
I do. But the 24 is a lot of points. But
Yeah.
I think after these last 2 games, it may be a lot more than that.
What did Scott go with?
Scott went with Van and over.
All right, Ryan. We don't know what TA's doing, but the question is, are you going to break ranks?
Nope,
You gonna
I'm
go?
falling in line on this one.
Okay.
Yep. What's Brownsboro? They're 1-3.
Yes.
Yep.
And the question is, how did they get the one?
They beat Jacksonville
So-
at the Tomato Bowl. Okay, our next game is Wills Point at Waxahachie Life. That is a 7 p.m. kickoff, I believe, down there at Waxahachie Life. Let's see. Numbers I have. Wills Point, minus 17.
Wills Point minus 7.
That's what he's got here. Wills Point minus 17, and the over-under is 43.
David,
I'm going to go Wills Point and under.
Will's pointing under. You got to write that down, Joel.
I'm thinking.
I know. Don't worry. It'll hurt. Now, what did Scott do?
Well, Scott on this game went Wills Point and over.
Oh, he's differing.
I think Wills Point wins.
But do they cover the 17?
That's a lot of points against Waxahachie Live. I'm going to say Waxahachie Live. Over.
You're calling Waxahachie?
Wait, no, you're calling Wills Point.
No, he said.
No, I think Wills Point wins. I just don't think they win by 17, and I think the total is going to be more than 43.
Oh, here
That's
we
how I'm
go.
going to gain some ground.
Oh, let's take a look at this. Hold on, guys. Take a look at this. What did you surprise me with?
All right, so today.
Oh, my
brought the,
Lord.
That's our chimichurri strip steak with crab boiled potatoes. So we take those nice red crab
Oh,
boiled
my
potatoes,
Lord.
boil them in this crawfish seasoning, then crisp them up before we serve them.
Oh, my Lord. That is absolutely delicious looking. Mm-hmm. Don't worry. We shall report next week.
Yes. Oh, and we call this, it's got a nice brightness to it. In the kitchen world, we call that acidity. It's going to make your mouth water, going to feel a little fresh.
It's already started happening over here.
That's right. So there you go. But, you got to come in for a steak sometime.
That's right.
So everything we do is over a wood fire grill. We do a coffee cure with Van Zandt coffee, and so it just gives it a nice bark on it, but it's going to be perfect medium rare on the inside. So yeah,
That's exciting.
I feel like I
I'm
look like a
actually-
Rottweiler with
I know.
just the
That-
drool
yeah,
dripping
Saint
down.
Bernard. All right. And what do we have over here? Let's show us this one, too.
Let's show the. So this is going to be our shaved ham and brie. We try to make everything Instagrammable around here.
Got to tilt
for
just a
the
little bit
kids.
for me there. That's beautiful right there.
So shaved ham, sliced apples, honey, Dijon mustard.
But that's like
arugula.
paper thin sliced apples.
It's just gotta give it the flavor. A little crisp, a little, give it a little sweet to the tanginess. You don't want that zippy tang in there, maybe a little bit. Yeah.
Oh,
So
my
anyways,
gosh.
a little tart, a little acidity from the apples actually. We're gonna go back to
I
that.
like it.
And then our famous waffle fries.
Outstanding, by the
Seasoning.
way.
Yeah.
May I request to go back on
We'll
that?
get it all boxed
Yeah.
up for you.
This was a beautiful presentation. Love
I
this.
try.
Thank you so much.
What about your steak? You want it here? Or you want us to box
I
it
think
up?
I'll eat it here.
Okay, perfect. We'll set it over to the side for you. We'll let it
Excellent.
rest a little bit.
Yes, it was tired.
Yes.
It's hard work becoming a steak like that.
Work those muscles.
As a matter of fact, Tavo says, amazing work, chef.
Oh, thank you, thank you.
Shane Ray came in and said, that's what they said about Canton Maybank. Edgewood can't play D. All right, so
wow.
there you heard it.
Okay, are we ready for our final game?
Okay, where did we go with Edgewood? Did you get all the stuff?
We're
that you
about to
needed?
go with Edgewood.
I'm sorry, the Wills Point. Did you get all the stuff you needed?
I'll get
Got
Will's
everybody.
point, and
Oh, no, I didn't.
what are we doing?
Who you missing?
Wills Point over under 43 for Ryan.
Will's
Got-
point under.
Okay.
All right.
All right, our final game that we're going to discuss this evening will be a Thursday night game, 7 o'clock, Edgewood at Prairieland, and this is the district opener for both teams. The numbers are Edgewood minus 17 with an over-under of 55.
Jeez.
Do you want mine? I'm going Edgewood over.
Put me down for that as well.
What did Scott go with?
Scott went with Edgewood and under.
What? He is a rebel without a clue.
Wait,
Or he
are they
could be a
playing
genius.
That's right.
Prairie Land?
I'm thinking that Edgewood covers 55 if Prairieland doesn't score a point.
Yeah.
That's just, again, Edgewood's fixing to be upset too.
Another factor
And run it up.
we have to consider in these picks is the weather. And all indications are for this week's games, the weather is supposed to be very, very good. So in the 80s.
In the 80s.
And, no chance of rain. I think after tonight, we may have all the rain we want for a while. So it's supposed to be a good night for football Thursday for Edgewood and Friday for everybody else.
All right. So you've got
I don't have Ryan's on Edgewood.
I don't know anything about Prairie Land. What happened to Palmer? Weren't they playing Palmer?
Last weekend, they got beat by Palmer.
I don't know anything about Prairie Land.
Well,
can you fill
They're not as good as Edgewood.
that's right. And they're not as good as Palmer.
All right, let's go Edgewood and let's go. Oh man, I'll ride with you guys and we'll go over.
Now there's 3 overs and 1 under, and we still got to wait and get TA's picks.
That's right.
I heard TA was going with Prairie Land this week.
Well, that'll get his attention.
So
Hot take.
everybody in Edgewood,
Hot take.
maybe I'm wrong. Maybe I don't know. He's
That'll get
he's
his
not here
attention.
to defend himself. So.
Hold on.
Right.
Has the pot been stirred?
Yes. Yes. All right. Ken,
Yes, sir.
Engineer Ken, fill us in on the broadcast schedule for Canton at Rusk Friday night and who will be on the call.
Well, here's the first question. What time's the game?
The game is at 7:30 at
And does
Rusk.
anybody have a Rand McNally? So I can figure out how to get there.
Rand is on offense, McNally's on defense.
Okay.
Who's
well,
on
now
first?
that exactly. Now that we've gotten that out of the way, 7:30 kickoff. We'll probably start broadcasting about 7:10, 7:15. If we have good internet signal, we still got to reach out and find out what's going on there. And it will be an all-day broadcast.
Yeah.
I don't mean we'll be broadcasting all day. I mean it will be TD, Tommy Day, touchdown, 2 gloves, Tommy Day, and his son Carter Day.
That's right.
So, they have the Buzz brothers, and when Carter and his friends come in and broadcast, they're the Young brothers.
So we got a combination.
Yeah, so it's the young and the old together there.
Right.
And then I'll be there to make sure that they can get on air.
Right. And again, you're so fired up about going to Rusk, you can hardly contain yourself right now.
Where's that Rand McNally? I don't know how to use Google Maps. Where's
Didn't-
that Rand McNally?
Weren't you in that hospital out there in Rusk for a little while?
We're not supposed to mention that on the air.
Other games, Thursday night, we mentioned Edgewood at Prairie Lands, a 7 o'clock start. Van, Friday night, home for homecoming against Brownsboro, 7:30 kickoff. Wills Point at Waxahachie Life. I believe that's a 7 p.m. kickoff Friday night in Waxahachie. And Grand Saline will enjoy a bye week. And next week, when we visit, we'll be talking about 3 teams on a bye week.
That's right. That's right.
So anyway, is there any other business we need to take care of?
I believe that is it. Other than the fact that we invite you out every Tuesday night, 6 o'clock. Actually, we invite you any night of the week out to Native Sun because, again,
Come on.
great atmosphere, great food. You've seen some of the food tonight. Mon excellence par none.
Yeah, we.
And, not yet, but a little more than this tea, and I'll have to.
Hey, Ryan, thanks for joining us.
I love
tonight.
having you guys in.
Thank you.
Yeah.
We
All right.
appreciate it.
So, David, sign us off.
All right. Well, for our engineer Ken, for Ryan, for the counselor, Joel Elliott, and TA, we miss you. We look forward to having TA Hale back with us next week.
And I'm not going to lie, Edgewood's probably real disappointed in your picks this week, TA. Just going to tell you.
I'm David Barber, Van Zandt Newspapers, and we always like to say at the end of our program that you have been listening and watching the Huddle Show